This is Swarfcast. I'm Noah Graff. I'm very honored to be with Salim Awad, President and CEO of Spinner North America. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I had heard of the company Spinner, but it seems like most people around here haven't, or many people haven't. I knew that it was a precision machining company from Germany, and machines were somewhat expensive, and I thought that they were highly thought of, but I didn't know that much. And so first, I really want to learn a little bit about the machines, and I'm going to get your story because it sounds interesting. And then I want to talk a lot about what it's like to penetrate the U.S. market with a machine tool that's, got a lot of quality and history, but people don't seem to know it. At least the people I know don't know it.
Right.
So first of all, just give me, the 2-minute overview of Spinner, the company, what you guys make, the history, and then I want to learn about you, and then we're going to dig deep into what you guys are doing.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Noah. Of course, you said it. Spinner is a German company, still family-owned, been around since 1949, and like a lot of the great companies, started in a garage. The father of the current Spinner brothers still run the company to this day. Started this company, of course, with the aim of filling a gap in the requirements for precision machining in Germany and in Europe overall. Being a family company, of course, they've had very good penetration in Germany, very good growth throughout Europe with approximately 1,200 machines per year sold in Europe, with now plants in Bulgaria and Turkey as well.
Bulgaria. 1,200 machines a year. So can you give me any comparisons of that to some of the other builders?
Well, to be frank, I'm not sure what our other
does sound like sounds like quite a lot. Because so give me a few examples of the types of machines and what each one costs.
Right, CNC machine tools from lathes to mills. We got some very special machines like a mill turn, for example, a mill turn with capabilities for grinding, and some hard turning machines that are able to hold sub-micron precision. So in terms of price, I got to tell you that we're very competitive. When a lot of people think about German machines, they think, oh yeah, they look great, they probably do a great job, but my God, I don't want to pay that much.
Sure.
But the reality is that, and I found this, and you were asking about, the penetration of the market. We found that we are able to provide a very high quality product at a price that shops, regular, normal shops, not only the huge companies, are able to afford. So
okay.
We're glad to provide that value without having to, break the bank for it.
Right. I'm assuming most of the machines are sold in Germany, though, at the moment.
They really are sold throughout the whole Europe, right? But yeah, of course, Germany is the home turf and the home market. And of course, it's a place where our machines are very well received.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, if possible, say, okay, so you have a triple turret machine. You might compare that to what, like a Nakamura NTY3 or Index C200?
Perhaps maybe more your Index, the design of our lathe, the triple turret, to give an example like you were giving, also has, our lathe has the 90-degree bed that allows for extremely good flow of chips and management of the work in the machine.
So, give me some idea of how much one would cost. Say a triple turret. Let me make a guess. Maybe like a triple turret, 65 millimeter. I'm just guessing based on other German machines. I'd say 800,000. Untooled.
Untooled. Well, I got to say, and happy to knowing that you saw the machine today. We're probably around 550.
550.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'd say a C200, because I've been pricing them, so the index competitor, sort of, yeah, that'd be about 700-800 plus, plus more. So it's a little bit less. So it's more like a Nakamura kind of. I know it's slightly different capability, but
Right.
if you were comparing it,
Overall, really good value for what you pay.
so it's like 550. Is that tooled up, or is that with the
With
bar loader?
some basic tools, and what we're finding, of course, this is a budgetary number, right? What I'm giving you
Is that with the bar loader?
no, without the bar loader. But
okay.
A bar loader can be probably added, and altogether you could probably be around 600.
Okay. Well, good. I just wanted people to have like a context of it. And then you have some milling machines and, some very interesting machines. Okay. You are the president and CEO of this German machine tool company. And I know you've had quite a journey to get to this point. So I want to learn, the different stages. You started. You're from Colombia, yes?
Colombia, South America. Yeah.
Where in Colombia? I've so wanted to go to Colombia. I've heard it's awesome.
It's a mouthful. Bucaramanga is the name of the town. Yeah,
Okay.
in the central mountains of the country. But a lot of my family is in Cartagena. In the
Cartagena.
north, maybe a little more popular among people around the world.
Okay, interesting. Do you salsa dance? I'm really into salsa dancing.
Of course.
Okay. Okay, so you're from Colombia. When did you come to the United States?
1997. Not with any plans to stay in the country. Came to study, stay here for a couple of years, learn the language, and unfortunately, in 1999, my mother was murdered in Colombia. She was shot 17 times in very unfortunate circumstances at our farm.
At your farm.
Yeah.
So, were you from a somewhat well-off family in Colombia, or?
Relatively speaking, yes.
Yeah.
The 80s and 90s were
Yeah.
very violent in Colombia. And to an extent, there's a little bit of that now in other countries like Mexico. But our families and many families suffered a lot.
Yeah,
in that
kidnapping too, probably.
A lot of kidnapping. I had relatives that were kidnapped, and of course, a system where force controls everything.
Yeah, but now it's a lot better than that, right?
I think so. Yeah, I still got a lot of family there, so they tell me it's a much better place to be.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. So you were studying in the United States when that happened?
Yeah, I was. Of course, I went back to Colombia and didn't think I was going to come back. But while I was there, the decision was made that I needed to request to come back to the United States. A family decision.
And where were you studying in the U.S.?
San Diego, California.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice.
What, like UCSD or?
San Diego State and community college, combination of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what? You join the military?
I joined when I went back to Colombia, came back in 1999, and in 2000 I joined the Army as an Army diver.
So how does that work? I mean, you weren't a citizen of the U.S., were you?
I was not. I was a resident, and I was fortunate because, in fact, living in San Diego, I wanted to become a Navy SEAL right away. But not being a citizen, it was not possible. But the Army, fortunately, had deep sea divers, and it's a kind of work that I wanted to be involved with.
So if you're a resident of the United States, they allow you to join the armed forces?
At least at the time, yes.
Very interesting.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure they do like a big background check and all that, but
So.
That's fascinating. So, okay, so you became an Army diver.
Yes.
And you wanted to be in the Navy SEALs, but they wouldn't let you because you weren't an American citizen?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me a little about that. Army diving.
Army divers. Well, not too many in the Army. In fact, I was in the Army for about over 7 years, deployed to many areas of the world, including Iraq. But even people in the Army don't know that there are Army divers, and are surprised to learn that the Army has divers.
So you joined at just the right time, huh? Like right before September 11th.
Everything was very strategically done, I guess.
Wow. So you went to Iraq?
I did.
And you mainly did diving near Iraq?
I was a salvage diver, reconnaissance, salvage and rescue was one of the biggest, port reconnaissance, the biggest missions that we did.
Wow. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long did you do that?
7 years. A little over 7 years.
And then what happened after that? You just did, it was like your tour was over and then you said, all right, I'm ready for the next stage?
No, actually, getting out of the military was not part of the plan whatsoever. I was on a military trip, what they call a TDY trip, and had to stop traveling from Virginia to Florida in Savannah, Georgia, and met this young lady that is now my wife that was not looking to get married. Neither was I. We just happened to like each other, and it developed into a serious relationship. And when I asked her to marry me, she told me she was not going to be an Army wife.
Got you. Otherwise, you liked the military life and the military path?
I did. My goal was to become a special operations soldier, Green Beret in the Army, and probably make that the rest of my career.
Wow. That's fascinating. So you meet this woman. She's the woman of your dreams. Total serendipity.
Yeah.
And then she says, "This is no bueno for me." So what was it like after that? Were you at a total crossroads, or did you kind of have a game plan, or?
No game plan whatsoever. I mean, a decision had to be made, and of course, it's a tough life.
Had you already graduated from college?
I had not.
Okay.
I was finishing up, and because I finished up during the Army.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. I actually was one of those guys carrying a laptop around when I was in the service, even deployed to Iraq, doing my college courses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So then, how do you get out of the service? Had you just done enough time, and you can say, "All right, I'm good"?
Right. Now my contract was up, so we were able to time it in a way that, of course, there is still a responsibility to fulfill the obligation that you have with the military. Again, not something I wanted to do for my career, but got out and decided to go to law school.
Law school?
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. That's like my dad, when Vietnam was going on, he was trying to dodge the draft, so he went to law school for a year.
I did it the other way around.
He loathed it. He couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
So where'd you go to law school?
St. Louis University.
Oh, SLU?
Yeah. You know it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know somebody who went there. Okay, so you became a lawyer. You went, did the whole thing there, and
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, became a lawyer, and was able to, of course, at the time, competition for legal jobs was tough, but I was able to get a good legal job.
What kind of lawyer did you want to be?
Well, I wanted to be litigation, and that's what I did. Litigation defense. So
Okay.
Product liability, medical malpractice, things of that nature.
Okay, and then where did that take you?
Well, that took me to a law firm for 3 years. Then I started my own law firm with another attorney, and we did that for 3 years.
Wow, I love. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I just started my own firm, and it's wow. You have just, it seems like you just have a lot of chutzpah and just do it. That's incredible.
Got to take action.
Yes. And then what?
And then what? Well,
You
then
started. First you worked for a law firm, then you started a law firm, and you were doing litigation, and then you decided, all right, it was time for a change.
Time for a change. I realized that discovered the beautiful world of manufacturing, and decided, well, I think it's time for me to make the shovels and sell the shovels and all the tools that are needed to make everything happen. And with the rise of automation, it was obvious to me the direction that we were going to be taking as a country and in the whole world, the importance of advanced manufacturing and automation.
Okay. And so what did that entail? You were interested in manufacturing?
So I went to work for an Italian company called Bucci Industries.
Bucci. Yeah. So here we are. You worked for Bucci. I'm very familiar with it. They make the bar loaders, Iemka bar loaders.
Yes, they got several brands, Iemka bar loaders, Giuliani transfer machines, Sinteco automation. Great family Italian company.
Okay. So you decided, you'd been doing your own thing. You had your own law firm. What made you, and you said, you saw manufacturing was an important thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you just applied for a job at Bucci and, you showed them that you were brilliant and had an array of interesting experiences and then how does that work?
I don't think I've ever applied for a job. I don't think I applied for the Army. I don't think I applied to go into this law firm I worked for. Clearly, I started my own firm, so I didn't have to apply to that. I don't remember applying to Bucci, and I didn't apply to Spinner.
And you didn't apply with your wife? You just fell upon her?
She was there for me.
Wow, what an amazing life. So you were at Bucci doing the business development, and then Spinner poached you from there?
The Spinner story was kind of interesting because it was an opportunity that they were looking for that they really were at a loss. They didn't know how this was going to happen. There was at some point there was a meeting, right? And there was a mutual discovery of opportunity on my part, on the high level cap machines that they make in Germany, and the fact that although they've been around for so long in Europe, they had zero market here basically. On their part, the opportunity to see what we had done with Bucci, building the customer base and really a good infrastructure to support our customers in the United States. In some conversations we had, they found an opportunity to finally come and take a serious part of the American market.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, I've been around a little while, and I see a lot of these machine tool companies, and they go through a lot of presidents. I think it's a lot of trial and error, seeing who's going to be able to represent.
Absolutely.
I've seen Index go through a whole bunch. Seen ZPS go through some. I'm sure DMG and Tornos have gone through a bunch. Those are a lot of the ones we know of.
Right.
Okay, so before this, I knew of Spinner a little bit. I had a guy in Germany I work with offer, he had one for sale, or I know Eurotech here used to distribute it, but they called it a Eurotech, so they didn't really call it a Spinner. And now you are at PMTS, getting the word out, showing the world what a Spinner is. How long have you been distributing Spinner in the U.S.?
So I joined the company right before IMTS 2022, so August of last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before that, you guys hadn't been distributing in the U.S.?
No. Spinner was simply setting the foundations for what they wanted to do, and they decided to propose that I came in to lead the effort.
Mm-hmm. Because they just said, oh, this is an untapped market.
Right. Look, for them, there was really no presence because, like you said, their brand wasn't known. Nobody knew what type of machines they could offer, where they came from, or what capabilities they had.
And it seems like you're somebody who likes a challenge.
Yeah.
And this seems like quite a challenge.
It's a little bit of a calculated risk, right? When you see the quality of these machine tools, the history and the success that they have in Europe.
So it's been around since 1949.
Since 1949, yes. It's still a family company.
Still a family company?
Yeah.
So what's the first step when you're bringing a machine tool or any B2B brand to a new country, particularly the United States, what was the first thing that came to mind? I'm sure you went to some consultants and said, well, what do people do? And so what do people do?
No, actually, we didn't go to any consultants. The first step was to identify who we want to be and why, and what resources we have to accomplish that. So we drew a mission objective that, of course, involved understanding the market. We didn't want to tell the market the business we were going to do. We wanted to listen for a little while and understand based upon our experiences and what we know works and doesn't work, how to move around bringing these machines here.
Do you think they chose you partly because you've got an international background, but you've been in the United States doing machine tools a long time? I see, and it's no offense to any of these other companies, but they often hire Europeans, many of whom have been living in the United States a long time, to run the show. Whereas, you're a little different than that. You're not German.
Right.
I'm sure some people probably thought, "Oh, bring a German over. We're a German company."
Right.
You think that was definitely something on their mind?
I think, every individual brings different elements to the table. And I think from me, there are elements that come from the military, from how to, move to a whole new country where I didn't know anyone or spoke the language, and being able to adapt and overcome and kind of get that situational awareness to what's going on and decide on a course of action and commit to it.
So you came up with some strategies. What was the first thing you did was to find some people to sell it, to find some distributors? Or?
Well, really the first step was to understand what type of customers were the right customers for us and get their feedback as to what they thought will be the best way to approach the market. Yes, people have been the first thing that we brought on board. Look, we're in a market with labor. It's not too abundant in any industry. But we have been fortunate enough, and with my personal relationships, to bring just a fantastic group of people. We're not to the level where we want to be as far as the team that we want to have, but I think we have a very strong foundation with the people that we brought already.
Okay, so that's huge.
Yeah.
You brought a lot of people from Europe, or just a total mix?
Not at all. No, they're all from the U.S.
They're all from the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what? What's the next thing you do?
The next step, continue to capitalize on the relationships that we already have. We call that the low-hanging fruit. And I was talking to a couple of friends from Italy here in PMTS, and we were sharing our stories of when you start a sales business, anything you're going to sell, you first make a list of your family members, and those are the first ones you call. Well, in this case, you called your friends.
And
the
so
people,
Bucci?
Well, in this case, you call the shops that we've already done business with, right? The people that have become your friends, that trust you, and that know that you're going to do what you say you're going to do.
Okay. So you call them and you say, and these people have Nakamura's and Mayanos and Mazaks and indexes, and you say, what do you say? We got this awesome machine. Come check it out.
Are you happy? And they tell you if they're happy. And many times you find a point of unhappiness that can result in an opportunity for us.
Mm-hmm. See, actually, the question that might come to my mind, I'm very, in the negotiation, I might say, are you unhappy? do you also ask that? Because often I feel like it's like asking how somebody is.
Right.
How are you? I'm fine.
Fine. Yeah.
Because I bet that happens all the time. They say I'm fine, and you're just like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
What do you do when somebody tells you they're fine?
Well, I think there's always a follow-up question, right? And we want to get to the core of the issue and fight the real pain. Almost like a doctor would, I guess, right? Start asking the real questions and find the core of the problem. And again, this goes back not only to a sales technique, but also techniques that are used in the legal profession. If you've ever been to a deposition, we all are all very familiar with the funnel system of understanding the big picture and start narrowing the areas that are critical or maybe are more interesting for the subject that we want to get at.
Yeah, yeah. As you know, I sell used machinery.
Right.
And I feel like selling new machinery, it's like on a whole nother level because I see machine tools, it's like a religion.
Right.
It's really hard to convert people. People are what they want. They go to the church, they go to the temple they like, that they know, that they're comfortable with.
Right.
And for you to go in like a missionary and say, check this religion out.
Here's the new gospel.
Here's the new gospel. You know, the controls are similar,
right,
but it's going to change your life.
Yeah.
I guess you have to have people that really, the first thing you need probably is people that really know the equipment in order to go in and do that.
Yeah, well, I think the foundation really is trust. I mean, they got to know that you're going to follow through because I tell this to everybody in our team. We don't take for granted the investment that our customers make in the equipment. I mean, these are, like we said, triple turret lathe can go for a little over $500,000. To me, that's a lot of money, and I hope I never become desensitized to the fact of this is a huge investment.
And they've already got one.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So what do you? Somebody says, I have an index, and I happen to love it. Do you kind of like that's one that you just sort of go, all right, like let's go to some other low hanging fruit, or I mean, how much do you try to convert them?
No, I don't. To be honest with you, I don't try to convert anybody. I think we try to keep it solutions based. So, do you have a project? Do you have a part that you wish and that you have the feeling that you could do better? Oh yeah, I do. All right, well, let me try it. Let me see if maybe we can do better for you. Maybe not. I don't know. I'll let the engineers figure that one out.
Right. See, to me, when people ask us what machine they should buy, you know, I do know of various differences, but, you know, we specifically will do like Swiss or multi-spindles, right?
Right.
When it comes to like Swiss, you know, Tsugami, Star, Citizen, I do, after a while, I kind of know some of the differences between them.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, it's really just personal preference. And when people don't have anything,
mm-hmm.
I just tell them, what do they have? What do most people have in your area? Who has the best support?
Exactly.
And I mean, yes, a lot. Some are better than others, and some do have some feature that the other ones don't have. Mm-hmm. But if somebody's already comfortable with this distributor they have nearby, right. I could see it really having to be a leap of faith for them to say, try some unknown quantity.
Right.
Are you really trying to focus more on the people that don't have the machines already?
No, not at all. I think, like I was saying, I try to focus on the elements that will make him feel comfortable. And one of them is a lot of these customers already know about, well, my personal reputation and what is becoming the reputation of the company of always following through and doing what we say we're going to do. What I've learned over years in manufacturing now is that it doesn't matter how good the machine is if it doesn't have the support. What I hear from customers, and I was telling you, how do we build that strategy? Well, the strategy comes from what the customers tell me. And what the customer tells me is, I don't care how good your machine is. If you're not going to support it, it's not good for me because I need the support. So that's where the focus comes. And what is support, right? You have to have the sense of urgency that they have. If the machine is not running, there's a great company called 168. They make the high pressure systems for the coolant, and is very interesting. You're familiar with them?
Wait, does the guy work with Gen Swiss?
And I'm not sure, but they make a high pressure system for the different fluids in the machine, coolant, and things like that. But anyway, the philosophy is that machine has to run 168 hours a week, right? Because there's a value to every hour. And I always share with my team what I feel is very important is that if a machine is down, we need to treat it as if a patient is in the ICU. This is an emergency. We need to run to, we need to fix it, and we need to make it right. Because, again, the investment is tremendous, and they're counting on us. Maybe this is the only machine that is going to make the part for them.
So how do you do that? I mean, you were telling me before that you have some distributors.
Yeah.
Are these distributors pretty good at working on these machines?
So the way I call it is the different rings of backup. And what I mean by that is the dealers that we have are dealers that we're training in Germany. So they're sending their service engineers, and we provide them with weeks of training in our equipment. Then we have our own engineers that come here to follow up on that training and making sure that these folks are doing the things the way they're supposed to be done for our machines, right? Then we also, Spinner, North America, we have our own service team, and we are supporting the dealers and supporting the customers directly. We don't have dealers everywhere in the country yet. So we're supporting those customers directly.
Okay, right. Because, I mean, again, like, well, you see some companies and you hear about, like, Index. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the distributors really do that much support. I feel like whenever I hear somebody with an Index talking about support, they're talking about getting it from Indianapolis or where are you guys headquartered?
In Minneapolis.
In Minneapolis. Yeah. So are most of your engineers, for instance, your applications people, your big time service people, are they all in Minneapolis?
No. We have some people, well, of course, in Minneapolis, some people in Texas, some people in Michigan.
Okay, so you have some really good people in totally different places in the country.
That's right. Well,
it's quite, that's quite something to be able to, make that statement that you have people that are good all over the country.
Yeah, we have to do it. We have to do it because otherwise we're unable to provide the support that's required.
Mm-hmm. We talked a couple minutes before this interview, and I said, well, what's the secret? And you said, we provide support and service. And I roll my eyes. And
everybody says that. Yeah.
Everybody says that. If you look on the internet, we've been around since 1949, and we give great service. So one of the big advantages you have is that you have a lot of really good people around the country in close proximity, sort of like some of the other, some of the machine tool builders have that too. That's one of your main things that when you're pitching people is that?
Well, the capability of the machine is number one, right, for us, because clearly we have tremendous technology, tremendously well built.
Right. I suppose that is the very first thing you have to.
Right. And the second thing I want to know is if we can provide a solution that adds more value to this customer, right? If we think this is something that they will benefit from, then we can talk about the support. What will life with this machine tool doing this for you will look like.
So do you have a lot of testimonials? Is that one of the things that
we got some really good testimonials, although, we haven't been in the market, in the North American market that long. We already have people that are, very happy to share their good experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a little bit technical.
Okay.
I'm not the most technical. I can sort of fake it a little bit, but it's hard to really get technical anyways on audio.
Right.
Let's just do the main nitty-gritty. What's the control? Fanuc, Siemens?
Depends on the machine. For our lathes, we have Fanuc or Siemens. For our mills, we have Siemens or Heidenhain. And for our mill turn, we use Siemens.
Interesting. That's an interesting decision to do a whole bunch of different ones.
Yeah, well, we try to accommodate the market. And to be honest with you, Fanuc is very popular in the United States. I think they provide great service and support to their customers. And for that reason, we've been trying to incorporate Fanuc more into the mix. As you might know, in Europe, in Germany particularly, Siemens and Heidenhain are very popular.
Right. So Fanuc can provide service as well. They don't necessarily have to go to you.
Right.
So certain if there's certain things that go wrong, you just say go to Fanuc?
Not necessarily. I think we take ownership for the machine, right?
Okay, so it can go both ways. So maybe you're not available, they can go to Fanuc, or...
That hasn't happened yet, so I haven't been in that situation, and we don't expect it to happen.
Sure.
It's not our intent to not be available.
Okay, so if something goes wrong, first option is to go to you guys.
Please. We want to know right away.
I was talking to somebody earlier today, and they were saying, everybody likes different things. Some people swear by Siemens, some people swear by Fanuc.
Right.
And I know I keep bringing up Index just because those are some of the German machines I'm familiar with. And we were saying, a C200 that has a Fanuc and one that has or it was like an ABC that had a Fanuc versus one that had a Siemens. And the Siemens, you can do things so many different more ways, and it's more flexible. Do you guys have recommendations on certain controls for the different machines? Are the ones in Germany, are they all in Siemens?
No. There is Fanuc in some applications. Look, it's going to depend on you, right, as the shop.
That's nice.
It's going to depend on the operators that you have. You may have a key operator that says, absolutely not, I have to have this control. Well, that's might be what you have to do, and has to do nothing with the capabilities of the control, but with the capabilities of the operator. And maybe, how easy you wanted it to make the life for everybody in the shop.
Okay, cool. I love the flexibility. And it's not like a lot of machine tool builders, if you want Fanuc and the default is Siemens, they charge more, or is it the price is the same?
No, because we're solution oriented. We're gonna give you the machine that is gonna do the job, right? And the job is not done if you have a control that you don't want.
Okay. Give me just a few key bells and whistles that some of the competitors don't have. If you're trying to brag, look, you're realistic, and sounds like you have a really great understanding of the market, and you be the first one to admit there's a bunch of good machine tools out there. So you are going into the shop, and so the first thing you're saying is, all right, what do you like? What do you not like? They tell you that. Then, and maybe they mention service or et cetera. Then you probably find out what kind of job they're doing.
Right.
And then, all right, when would you go and say, by the way, there's this one thing we do. Yeah. I don't know if you need to do this, but, we really do this well. What would that pitch be?
So I think the way we build the machines is unique, right? We have a lot of precision components in these machines, from glass scales to the spindles to the turrets. That's unique for us. We make our own turrets, our own spindles, our own castings. So in one factory in Germany, we're able to
really?
Put that. Absolutely. So that is unique in that we do it for a number of reasons: for quality control, for control of the supply chain. And if we want to make any engineering changes to the product, to a turret, for example, we have the flexibility to just do it. We don't have to go to a supplier to do it for us.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
Does that make the cost go up in certain respects, or maybe in certain respects that's good for the cost if you're not?
I think it's good for the cost because, with the volumes that we have in Europe, and I was saying, over 1,200 machines a year, and the volumes that we're starting to see here, overall, it results in a much higher quality.
Yeah, more reliable if your people are watching over everything that's going on.
Exactly, and we control the inventory.
Interesting. You think of a car and everything is made in a gazillion different places.
Right.
But obviously you have people you're buying your screws from. And
right, of course.
Right, but the casting and all the
all the precision components are made in-house.
Very interesting. Okay, so they've got high accuracy. You tailor the controls to what people are interested in. Give me just a few things how the precision or the speed or something that sets it apart.
Well, I think the
I mean,
precision.
you were rolling off a few things when we were
Yeah.
when we were looking at the machine. So
No, I think that the ability to multitask, and that's what we're seeing. Significantly decrease cycle times in a lot of the processes that we're doing. Right. The tolerances that we're doing in some of the parts for customers, it's incredible. I mean, I have customers that were grinding these parts, polishing in many cases, and now they're in one up, come out of our machine, they're ready to go. They just have to clean them, pack them, and send them to their customer.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, the main way you're penetrating it then is going door to door, or is advertising a huge thing? I mean, just so people know, we're at PMTS, and most of the main builders aren't here. DMG is not here. Index is not here. Is Nakamura here?
I don't believe so.
I don't think Nakamura is here. Mazak is here. But I mean, you guys have probably the booth with maybe the most machines here, or at least competitive, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, no, I'm very proud of the presence that we have at PMTS. Very proud of being part of the machining community, and I think that's
I mean, you
why
must have spent quite a bit of money to bring all that stuff.
It's in we don't see it as an expense. We see it as an investment, and also a show of commitment, a commitment to the machining community, to the precision machining community, and a response that we want to have customers think about. Why we make this investment. It's because we care, because we want to be part of this group of people that are there every day figuring out how to do this machining better, more efficiently, more automated, competitive in the world.
Well, I think it really says a lot that you're the one that came here. And I don't know. I mean, I think it's cool if you're the only person here doing that, because people are here at a show to go and touch things.
Right.
Push the buttons, watch it. And, all these other guys are probably going to say, yeah, well, they can watch it on YouTube.
Sure.
Or they can come to our showroom. Or I was talking to somebody else today who was saying, we can fly our best customers in from wherever and show them a good time for the millions of dollars it's going to cost.
You could.
But you're trying to get new customers too. And so to get new customers, this is, you guys definitely value it.
Yeah, look, and we do all of the above. We do have an open house in our factory in Germany in about 2 weeks, right? And we're going to have customers from the United States going, customers from all over the world. But to me, to us, to the team, for us, is to show everybody that we're interested in you. We're interested in being part of the team, and we're in it with you. We're not here just to sell you things. We're here to be a partner with you. I gotta be honest. I don't want to sell a shop one machine. I want to make him spinner shops. That is the goal. And the only way you become a spinner shop is by trusting in a spinner. And after you buy that first machine, you feel the love, if you would, right? Oh wow, the machine does what it says it's gonna do. They do actually support it. I wasn't so sure, but they do, and they're taking care of me. Wow, another need for another machine. Let's do another spinner. That only happens if you're part of the team, if you're playing together, sharing the ups and the downs, right? So being in the show, making a big investment, showing the machines that people need to see, it's not easy. It requires a lot of money, but also brings us a lot of return in the form of the relationships we're building with everybody here.
Yeah, no, I get it. You're very good at making that argument to me. Just a few other things. Like I was going around asking people, what should I ask them? Somebody says, what are you doing to try to get young people to want to do the machines? I definitely can feel the control. I'm trying to tailor the control, maybe.
Yeah.
Have you done a lot to for the appearance? Have you focused on that, like trying to give some bling to the look of the machine?
Yeah. When I looked at the spinner machines, I always think of Leonardo da Vinci saying that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. And I see simplicity that works at a level of sophistication that I have not seen in any other machine. And that works it gets it done, and it gets it done extremely well.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean the color is black and white.
Right? It's it's something. Look, and you were talking about how do you attract young people, and well, the equipment has to challenge the status quo, and that we have to be able to do more. But also, I want young people to feel, and everybody should feel this. This is a very honorable, prestigious profession that what we're doing here.
Yeah.
The very fabric of what
and the equipment can really, it can make somebody want to do it.
I think it does, have that effect on me, right? And I think, and a lot of our customers, I'm standing there at the booth at PMTS, looking at people standing in front of the machine. Their faces are faces of, it's refreshing to see some amazement, a little bit of surprise, a little bit of confusion. Like, how do I never heard of this?
I swear, I went, the several people I talked to, they either were like, I've sort of heard of them, or I've never heard of them.
Right.
This is interesting. I have to go see them.
Yeah.
And these are people that are like very serious.
And they've been in machining for a long time, by extent.
Decades.
Yeah.
It's exciting because you have so much upside. Do you have any specific expectations in the next year or two?
Yeah, our expectation is a simple one: to do every installation the best we can. Make sure that every machine that is installed at the shop does everything that it's supposed to do, and that the process is painless for the customer and effective for the overall big picture of what they want to do. So one at a time, that's what I would say. It's a strategy that involves one at a time. Every one of them has to be right.
And do you have any goals for, how many you'd love to see in a shop in the next 3 years or something that would be successful? I figure these are pretty hard questions for you to give me an answer to.
No, look, but ultimately, I can give you the overall.
You sell 1,200 a year.
Yeah, in Europe.
In Europe. How many have you sold in the U.S. so far?
About a tenth of that.
You've sold 120 in the U.S.?
Well, over the overall history of Spinner.
Over the history of Spinner. Okay. Since this new push.
Oh, well, I want to say we're approaching 18, 20.
Okay. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Over 1 year?
Yeah, about a little more of, 6 months since IMTS.
Just 6 months?
Yeah.
Have you sold any at the show yet?
I think so. I'm not sure yet.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's waiting some final approvals.
Do you have anything else that you want to say about the machine? Just reflections.
Yeah. Look, I want you to know that Spinner has been around in the world for a long time. We talked about the 1949 foundation of the company many years ago, but we're here to add value to the North American manufacturing ecosystem. We want to be part of the community. We want to do the right thing every time, whatever it takes, right? And we want to grow with you. I think we can make you very successful. We have also a lot of automation capabilities.
That's another thing you guys do.
Yeah. We got Spinner automation out of Stuttgart. Our main plant in Germany for Spinner is in Munich, near Munich, a town called Sauerlach. But we also have an automation plant in Stuttgart, Germany. So this is also our focus. We understand that the labor force is not present, and that we can, meet the challenges of the current global situation, whatever that might be, with more technology that works for us, and we can get it from a country like Germany in Western Europe.
Interesting. Just one other question. I always try to ask this question.
Sure.
What's something that you learned last week or recently, or something that you've been researching? Just doesn't have to do with machining necessarily.
Right.
It could just be something you learned about a sports team, or just something philosophical. What's something that struck you, or something you read recently?
Right. I've been researching and learning more about what it took for the United States and the Allies to build up manufacturing to meet the challenge of World War II.
That's really interesting. And can you give me any tidbit that surprised you? Or
that we were totally unprepared, probably worse than we are now.
Right. But you know the machine that won World War II is the Davenport.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The Germans were making, they had like indexes with one spindle,
Sure.
and we had 5.
Yeah.
And we just spit out those bullets like nobody's business.
Yeah. But it's something we don't think about.
But we were totally unprepared for World War II.
Absolutely.
guess, yeah.
Manufacturing wise. Yes, absolutely. And
that's
of
really
course,
interesting.
we realized that manufacturing plays an enormous, huge role in defending our way of life and what we do here. And look, I got to tell you, day one of our show here at PMTS, I gave the team a little talk. And the talk did involve what it really means to be here. And we're not here just to sell machines. We're here to make sure that we can give our country a way of life, democracy, a chance going forward. And we really mean that.
And so are you partly referring to reshoring?
Every aspect of what makes us dependent and weak in any way.
Mm-hmm. That's very interesting. That's a very interesting thing to close on. And it's definitely an idea for a podcast about how prepared are we for, if we ever actually do have to fight one of these big countries that doesn't seem to like us.
Yeah, but I don't think that we are where we need to be. That's for sure, and we got a lot of work to do. We need to be focused. We need to have the best tools that we can get our hands on, and we all together need to share the commitment. And we were sharing about community, and this is a relatively small precision machining community, but it really educates, inform our perspective and how we have to behave overall, right? Be committed to a common goal that will benefit everybody.